But let me ask you, what is suffering? Well, you are, of course. You're suffering. But you notice, you see, so what is suffering? What is suffering? And then another thing you can notice is that you pretty much do it all the time. It's not just those times when, you know, you break your leg or whatever, or your wife or husband leaves you or something, you know, like that, which, these big, suffering, whatever. You got an arrow in your head. But it's kind of constant, right? Low-grade suffering occurring pretty much constantly. You know, the worries, if you're worried, you're suffering. You're afraid, you're suffering. If you're irritated, you're suffering. If you're upset, you're suffering, right? If you're angry, you're suffering, etc. I mean, anything that's going on in there that's negative, you're suffering, see? And then this whole thing in relationship to life and self, there's a lot of stuff in those domains, yeah, that, you know, you're suffering. See? And sometimes you get good and pleasured, right? See, you get like an overwhelming pleasurable experience. You're distracted by pleasurable. You know, you're laughing or something's, you know, wow, that really feels good, or that was really wonderful, or something like that, right? And then the suffering takes a backseat, right? See, and you're overwhelmed. But it usually doesn't last long. You go back to the constant kind of sufferings, and usually the distraction of the pleasurable experience was circumstantially derived, you know. So that means it'll change with circumstance. I mean, how long can you keep laughing at something that was funny? You know, right? Sometimes you see people laugh a little too long, right? They laugh too long. No, it's not that funny. And you're not, see, it's not happy anymore. You're not actually laughing anymore, you're trying to. You don't want to lose it or something, or you want, you know what I'm saying? We've all seen that, right? Or experienced it. It's like, it's good. There's no longer genuine. See, so it goes away. And then we also notice, of course, sure, in the experience that, you know, the suffering is identical to the pleasure. You know, like they're the same event. And if we, okay, we don't notice that? Okay. Let's talk about Buddha's perspective on that, right? At least the hearsay is that, you know, suffering is caused by desire, craving, thirst. See? It's the desire, it's the wanting, see? This grabbing for what? What are you going to want? Something good, right? You want something good, you're going to want, you desire something. You crave something. You do it for yourself, you know, you want stuff for yourself, you know. Self-image, you want something for your body. You want something for every piece of you, right? You know, social, etc. So you desire things. And that desire itself, which is constant, right? And changing and all kinds of different stuff, right? But it's constant. So he's saying that's the cause of suffering. So he's making a direct relationship between desire for pleasurable stuff and suffering. Now, we notice desire is not pleasure. Do we notice that? Okay. See, sometimes people confuse that. They think they desire something that's pleasurable, because you always desire something that's pleasurable, and the desire itself is itself pleasurable. It's not. Because the desire itself is actually a form of suffering. See? And it's wanting the pleasurable stuff. Anyway, so I think that's an aspect. That's an aspect. So it's kind of turning into it, and also, you know, working on what suffering is, and trying to grasp the relationship between suffering and pleasure, pain and pleasure, and the relationship desire. And as we notice, desire immediately, one of the reasons it's a form of suffering is because the desire immediately says you do not have the thing you desire. Otherwise you wouldn't be desiring it, you'd be enjoying it. You see? Desire, it's like fear. The thing you're afraid of is not occurred. They have that in common. And so you desire something, Also, it also suggests that you are separated from it. You see? And so you're suffering the lack of having it. So desire is actually a form of suffering. It's actually a form of pain. So you can see if you didn't desire anything, I mean, you can see that in any domain you want to work on, right? You could just, intellectually, or superficially, stop desiring something that you desire. See? Or you could go right down to the quick, stop desiring being alive, etc., or a self, But you can see the principle operating. If you just stop desiring anything, you think of something you desire, and then stop desiring it. The moment you stop desiring it, you are now free in relationship to that thing. Aren't you? You know what I'm saying? So about desire. So, I don't desire. You're not bound anymore. It becomes insignificant to you in a way. It just becomes itself, right? So you don't desire the ice cream anymore. It just becomes ice cream. Nothing to you. So you have no desire for it. So you're not suffering the loss of it. You're not, I got to get that pleasure. I got to get that pleasure. No, you don't have that. And so you don't suffer that anymore. You see what I'm saying? You can do that, and I encourage you to do that. Just check out in whatever way. Just find something and do it, just to watch the principle at work. Stop desiring stuff. And if you want, then you could desire, again, right after you've seen if it works. Gotta have that ice cream. Yeah, I don't want it. No, I don't.
Hi, I'm Brendan Lee, and I've been studying with Peter Ralston for 20 years. I really want you to know that no matter how many videos you watch or books you read, it pales in comparison to the power of the live workshops that we host here at the center or on Zoom. If you want to get serious and do work that makes a real difference, please check the links in the description to learn more. Thank you.